Hey everyone!
Hey.
Hope you guys are having a great start to your Wednesday. We're just going to jump right into this week's 5-minute message. As you all are aware of, there has been a lot going on this week. There's been a lot of tragedy, there's been a lot of violence, there has been a lot of just sadness. And so as we were praying and thinking and talking about what we wanted to talk about today, we really looked to scripture and we looked to the example of Jesus in our lives. And so today our bottom line is that you can love and disagree at the same time. We feel like loving and disagreeing is something that we probably could use on the daily, I would say.
I would say so.
But also in a time like this, we hope that this brings you some encouragement. So I don't know about you. I feel like this might make me sound like a terrible person.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Are you worried of what I'm going to say?
Only a little.
But sometimes I encounter someone that just drives me crazy.
That's normal.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
well, that's good. I know that, like, my personality probably isn't for everyone, so it's not really fair for me to expect me to jive perfectly with every other human on the planet. But sometimes you just don't, and sometimes it's hard. But even in those situations where you don't, like, jive perfectly with another person, it doesn't mean that you can just write them off. It doesn't mean you can just pretend like they don't exist. It means that you still have to actively love them like Christ would love them. And so that's what we're called to do. And we're going to look at a little bit of scripture. Right now, we're going to look in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verses 10 through 13. It says, "Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer."
So you can't really have an idea what love is, godly love really is, unless you look and see the example of Jesus, whether you've read about it or you've heard about it or you really see someone who just embodies it completely. But Paul, the author of the book of Romans, definitely understood the reckless love that Jesus had for the world, and he wanted nothing more than to live it out and to write about what it looks like.
So, like I mentioned before, the world is in just like turmoil right now. We're still in the middle of this crazy pandemic. It's not over yet, even though we see an end in sight of life going back to normal. There's all of these crazy political things going on. There's injustices that we have seen this past week. And all of these things are on the forefront of our minds. At least they are for us. And rightfully so. It's sad that it sometimes takes a tragedy like this for us to like get whiplash and just be like, what is going on? And to really be able to turn our focus to these injustices that are happening around us. And I think that that's kind of normal. It's kind of in our human nature to just be kind of self-centered and kind of see our small world around us kind of as all we see. But in a time like this, we're challenged to really be the hands and feet of Jesus and to love boldly like he would love and to figure out how we can do that to the people around us. And it takes work to look beyond ourselves and to really do that. So there's beauty in diversity of thought and the things that make us who we are, uniquely different. However, racism is not one of those things. Abuse of power and killing people is not one of those things. And taking advantage of a chaotic situation for your own personal gain is not one of those things.
There's no way that hate can be fought with hate. There's never going to be a winner. There will never be progress. And there's only going to be further division and a greater darkness that we'll eventually have to overcome even more. Hate can only be conquered with love. For the goal is not to force others into thinking, believing, or acting in a way that we want them to. The goal is to shine a light of hope in grace and love on a path that ultimately leads to Jesus. You are God's witness. You are God's example of love that this world needs. And it is hate that seeks to control and love that offers freedom and choice. People can be wrong. And in a lot of situations in the news lately, people have been terribly wrong. But in general, people are just different. And people that are different than us, we can love them and disagree with them at the same time. And again, the beauty comes in the midst of that diversity when we unite to serve those in need and seek justice for those who have experienced injustice.
So whether it is hate or if it's just differences, love is truly the only answer. Don't get us wrong. Injustice warrants justice. But love is the only way that we can make progress in this. You can love someone and disagree with them, but you have to love them.